Imagine waking up one day and finding out your own bank has locked away every single dollar you own. And when you call them for help, they laugh at you and make snide remarks about your last name. That was my life, until I found a way to make their entire social media presence burn to the ground. If you've ever been treated unfairly by a bank, a boss, or any company that thought they could walk all over you, smash that like button. Because this story isn't just about money. It's about fighting back and winning in the most satisfying way possible. I've always trusted the big banks about as far as I can throw them. So when I moved to a new town, I thought, hey, maybe a small local credit union will be different. They smiled at me, handed me a shiny debit card, and I thought I was in good hands. But a few weeks later, when I tried to use the ATM, my card just didn't work. No warning, no email, nothing. I walked into the branch, frustrated, and the clerk behind the counter barely looked up. With a sigh, she gave me a special code that let me pull cash directly from my account. I didn't know it then, but that little interaction would set off a chain of events that would have me ready to burn the entire credit union to the ground. A few days later, I noticed something strange. My online banking app was blank. No balance, no transactions, nothing. When I called their support line, the representative's tone was as cold as ice. She said my account was under review because of some accounting error. I hadn't gone into overdraft. I hadn't broken any rules. This was their mistake. And yet, they locked away every single dollar I had. For the next month, every call felt like torture. The bank's reps treated me like I was guilty of some crime. They talked down to me, sighed loudly, and one even chuckled, saying, "Maybe you should learn how we do things in America," as if my foreign-sounding last name made me suspicious. I hung up that day, shaking with rage. It wasn't just about the money anymore. It was about the disrespect, the humiliation, the helplessness of knowing they had all the power and were enjoying it. One night, after yet another failed call, I vented to my family over video chat. My younger cousin, who's more tech-savvy than I am, smirked and said, "Why don't you fight fire with fire?" Then he told me about a service, something that sounded almost too good to be true. For just a few bucks, you could pay hundreds of people to flood social media with any message you wanted. Angry tweets, bad reviews, public complaints, you name it. Something clicked inside me. This was it. This was my weapon. I spent the next hour crafting the perfect storm. I wrote a post describing exactly how the credit union had frozen my money and mocked me for weeks. Then, with trembling fingers, I uploaded it to the service, selected American-looking profiles, and spent the best $3 of my life. Within hours, the credit union's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram were buried under hundreds of furious complaints. People were demanding answers, calling out their customer service, accusing them of discrimination. The fire spread so fast, I almost couldn't keep up refreshing the pages. For the first time in weeks, I felt powerful, and then my phone rang. The caller ID said it was the bank. The call center manager's tone was completely different. Suddenly, they were apologetic, understanding, eager to help. She told me they would unlock my account immediately, and even offered $50, compensation for the inconvenience. They were practically begging me to let them transfer my funds to any bank I wanted. I kept my voice calm, but inside, I was grinning ear to ear. They had no idea who was behind the storm that hit them. All they knew was that if they didn't fix this, their reputation would go up in flames. I walked away that day with every cent of my money and a little extra for my trouble. The credit union learned the hard way that sometimes the little guy has teeth. And while I couldn't exactly call off the wave of complaints, well, maybe that's a lesson they'll remember every time they think about mistreating a customer. What's the most satisfying moment of revenge you've ever seen or pulled off? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that prove karma isn't just real. It's sometimes digital.